Look at verse 10. It says, not just hallowed be your name, but your kingdom come. Kingdom is God's rule over creation, and it continues the vein of what we've talked about, but I think it progresses the thought a little bit. So here's the thing. I assume that everyone in here has some sort of like unique treasured item, okay? For me, growing up, my unique treasured item was a Rocket Power holographic first edition Charizard Pokemon card. It was beautiful. Like, I had it in an immaculate case, and that thing was hollowed. Like, it was set aside. And if you didn't have Pokemons growing up, your loss. But also, I would assume that instead of, like, me, like, this is funny. Generations today are different. When I was growing up, my parents and my grandparents had, like, a special room that was like the China cabinet room. Now we have action figure rooms, like in Pokemon card rooms, right? Like the thing, but like we still have like the sacred space, right? But I remember growing up and like for me, I had a section of my room dedicated to like Pokemon cards and action figures, but my parents had a room that was dedicated for China cabinet, right? And that was the special items not to be touched by anyone because they're sacred. They were passed down from generations and they were rooms dedicated to not being allowed to have fun. Like, that was the whole purpose of the room. We're not allowed to play in there because the room is for show. Everything in there was set apart. But none of those things influenced my day-to-day life. Like, they meant nothing to me, really. They were just a thing that I wasn't allowed to touch. It was an object I could pull out when it was convenient to show off how awesome I was to my friends. And then I could put it away and do whatever I want. Is God just an object to be pulled out when it's convenient for you in prayer? Or does he actually rule? You don't get to put God in the cabinet for your friends to look at. You don't get to pull out God out of the stack of Pokemon cards to show off. He is the ruler over all. And this is what we see in Scripture, that how God separates himself from all of the other nations' gods. Because all of the nations have idols that they set apart. Every nation of the world has a God they worship. They create an idol or an idea of God that they claim their God is separate. They put it in a separate place of the house. They will go and acknowledge the beauty of that item. They will take care of that item, and then they will leave, and their lives are dictated by whatever they want to do. But our God is not just separated, he is separated and a ruler. Psalm 115 speaks of this.